The lights were as dazzling as ever, the stage polished to perfection, and the audience buzzing in anticipation. Tom Cruise, one of Hollywood's most magnetic stars, was slated to appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live to promote his upcoming film. On the surface, everything looked routine. Cruise had done this dance countless times before. A smile for the cameras, toss in a few jokes, promote the film, and leave the stage with applause ringing in his ears. But tonight was different. From the moment Cruise stepped into the green room, there was a subtle tension in the air. The staff greeted him warmly, as they always did, offering him coffee and small talk while he prepared for his segment. But when Jimmy entered the building, something felt off. He walked past Cruise with a curt nod, barely making eye contact. Normally jovial and chatty backstage, Jimmy was stone-faced, distracted. A producer whispered something into his ear, and he nodded sharply, clearly annoyed. Tom, ever the professional, brushed it off. Maybe Jimmy had a rough day. It wasn't his place to pry. He focused on what he came there for, his film, a movie he'd poured his soul into, risking life and limb to do his own stunts. As always, the audience was going to love it, and he was here to share that excitement. The show began like any other. Jimmy walked out to cheers, delivered his opening monologue with the usual wit and sarcasm, poked fun at the news cycle, and teased the upcoming guests. But even in his monologue, there was a strange edge when he mentioned Cruise. Tonight, we've got Tom Cruise with us, you know. The man who jumps off buildings for fun and demands silence when he walks on set, he quipped, smirking at the audience. A few chuckles followed, but the vibe wasn't quite right. When Cruise was introduced, the crowd erupted into applause. He walked out beaming, waving to fans, shaking hands with the front row. But when he reached Jimmy, the host didn't rise from his seat. He extended a hand lazily, offering a brief "Hey, Tom," before turning his attention to his notes. Tom sat down, still smiling, though noticeably taken aback by the cold reception. "Thanks for having me," he began, trying to keep things light. "It's always a thrill being here." Jimmy forced a smile. "Thrilled to have you, Tom. You must be busy, what with saving the world one movie at a time." The crowd laughed, sensing the sarcasm. Cruise chuckled politely, nodding. "Well, it's a team effort. Great crew, great writers. I'm just the guy hanging off the side of a plane." Jimmy leaned back, and making sure everyone hears about it. "You've been on every talk show, magazine cover, social media post. You're like a one-man PR army." Tom tilted his head slightly. "Well, we're excited about the movie. That's what it's all about. Getting people to theaters, especially after everything." Jimmy's smirk didn't fade. "Right. But let's talk about what people really want to know. There's been a lot of talk about how you run your sets. People say you're intense. Some say controlling, like that infamous leaked audio from a few years ago. Care to comment?" Tom's smile faded just a bit. He'd expected some jabs of this was late night, after all, but not a deep cut so early. "That audio was taken out of context," he replied calmly. "I care deeply about the work we do and the people we work with. Safety and professionalism are key." Jimmy nodded slowly. Sure. But it wasn't just the yelling. Some crew members said they were afraid of you." Tom's jaw tightened. "We were in the middle of a pandemic, trying to keep a set running without anyone getting sick. There was pressure. I admit, I was firm, but never out of malice." There was an uneasy silence in the audience. This wasn't the playful banter they expected. Jimmy flipped through his cards. "And then there's the whole Scientology thing." Tom raised a hand gently but firmly. "Jimmy, I think your viewers want to hear about the movie, the stunts, the story. That's what I'm here for." Jimmy shrugged. "You can't separate the man from the myth, Tom. People want to know who you really are, not just the guy doing flips off helicopters." Tom leaned forward slightly. "I'm someone who works hard, who believes in excellence, and who respects the audience enough to give 110% every time. I'm not here to be dissected. I'm here to celebrate a film that hundreds of people worked tirelessly to bring to life." The audience clapped, a mix of support and discomfort. Jimmy chuckled, though there was no warmth in it. "All right, alright, let's lighten it up. You ever get tired of playing the hero? Ever want to play a normal guy who, I don't know, works at a bank or something? Tom smiled again, easing up. Funny you mention it. I've actually been looking at some more grounded roles. Characters with flaws, vulnerabilities. Not every story needs an explosion. Shocking, Jimmy said, pretending to gasp. Tom Cruise, vulnerable? That'll be the day. Tom laughed, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. Believe it or not, Jimmy, I'm human. Jimmy's eyes narrowed just slightly. Are you? Because the rumors say otherwise. There's a theory that you don't age, don't sleep, and might actually be a government clone. Tom leaned back, arms folded. Is that what we're doing now? Conspiracy hour? Jimmy held up his hands. Hey, just trying to get the truth. You're a mysterious guy. Mysterious doesn't mean dishonest, Tom said, more sharply than before. There's a difference. A beat passed. Jimmy looked at the audience, then back at Tom. Touchy tonight, aren't we? Tom took a deep breath. Jimmy, with all due respect, if this is what your show's become, mere personal jabs and tabloid speculation, I might be in the wrong chair. The crowd murmured. Some clapped nervously. Jimmy raised an eyebrow. It's comedy, Tom. This is what we do. There's comedy, Tom said evenly, and then there's disrespect. You invited me here under the pretense of promoting a film, not to ambush me with rumors and ridicule. Jimmy opened his mouth to reply, but Tom continued. Look, I get it. You have a brand to maintain. You push boundaries, poke the bear. But there's a way to do that without stepping on someone's dignity. Jimmy looked at his cue cards, then tossed them aside. Fair enough. So tell me, why are you really here? Tom paused, then stood. I came here to talk about a movie, a story I believe in, to thank the people who made it possible and to share something exciting with the audience. But if that's not what this show's about anymore, I won't waste anyone's time. Gasps rippled through the audience as Tom adjusted his jacket. Jimmy looked stunned for a moment, then smirked. So that's it? You're walking out? Tom looked down at him. I came here in good faith. I answered your questions. But I won't stand here and be mocked under the guise of entertainment. With that, he turned and walked off the set. The camera stayed on Jimmy, who shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The audience didn't know whether to applaud or stay silent. Backstage, Tom's team was already waiting. Security moved to intercept him, unsure if he was leaving mid-program, but Tom kept walking. A producer tried to convince him to stay, saying it was just for laughs, that the bit would be softened in editing. Tom turned to him, his voice calm but firm. There's nothing funny about attacking someone's character on live television. Minutes later, a staffer rushed into Jimmy's dressing room, handing him a phone. The internet was already ablaze. Clips from the segment were trending. Some viewers praised Cruise for standing up for himself, while others questioned why Kimmel had pressed so hard. Jimmy stared at the screen, then sighed. Maybe he had gone too far. Maybe the line between comedy and cruelty had blurred, just a bit too much. That night, both men left the studio with different stories to tell. One walked out on principle. The other stayed behind, wondering when a joke stops being funnier and starts revealing something else entirely.